Hello, I'm Kevin Quavillion, Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club of Portage County. The Boys and Girls Club of Portage County was founded in 2002 by a group of people who saw a need for a safe and positive place for children to go after school and during the summer, a place that would be affordable for all. The club started in a small building on Ellis Street in downtown Stevens Point, serving a few dozen kids each day. 20 years later, we have served over 14,000 youth across 10 club sites throughout Portage County.
As I looked at this beautiful facility that we're in now, I said, can you imagine this all started in a room about half as big as this room. It was a former mail room for Travel Guard, the Noel Group. But to think that's where it started and here's where it is today. It's a blink of an eye, but it's pretty impressive. 20 years ago, when we started this, there was a lot of questions as to whether or not the Boys and Girls Club would catch on in Portage County and Stevens Point. Would it be supported? Would it be expanded?
John Noel and John Jonas years and years ago raised a lot of money in the community to put together scholarships for kids to be able to participate in various clubs around the area. As he was going through that process, he really realized that there wasn't really anything that was spot on for helping out kids that were disadvantaged and at risk. We were talking in a meeting one day, just completely off topic, and I said, well, if you're really looking for an organization, the Boys and Girls Club is something you should look into. I had been involved with the Boys and Girls Club in Oshkosh, and so we actually set up a tour and we all went over to the Oshkosh Club and got to see what they did and really kind of spurred the interest, and that really got the ball rolling.
It's been a fun almost 20 years, but there's been so many people that have made it possible. I mean, we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for you two. I remember, John, you showed me the building across the street, the Ellis Street building, and you had told me that you were donating. I got really excited. I'm like, a donated building. You know, we had so many people that helped renovate that building into a very functional Boys and Girls Club.
It was small. It was humble.
The difference between the Burrard Center and where we started over on Ellis Street is so incredibly different that it's so exciting to see how far it's come. Right at that time, it was so malleable as to what it could be. The people that they had surrounding us that were running the club really cared enough about us, and kids started being like, this is my home. It started snowballing to where they would bring their friend, and then their friend brought friends. It kind of snowballed from there.
As the Boys and Girls Club developed, it was really kind of adopted by the Travel Guard Company and its employees.
There were people at Travel Guard that were willing to help with everything. Some of the IT people.
Our creative staff, we did a lot of the early stuff.
Not a lot, we did all of it.
We did all of it.
I think that's why the Boys and Girls Club was able to grow so fast, because it literally was born out of Travel Guard, out of your business.
And a great birth it was.
I originally started attending the club when I was about 13, 14 years old, when they initially had opened downtown Stevens Point. And between me and my family members, we were some of the original 15 members of the whole club. So we've been here since just about the beginning. In my youth, my adolescence, the Boys and Girls Club was so important because I was just really lost and I didn't know what to do, and it gave me so many avenues to put that energy into. It provided a big sense of pride when you're a teenager and you don't know really what you're doing, and you find these avenues that you feel like you shine in, and it was really important to a lot of us. It wasn't only that you felt included, but it felt like you had a part in building it. We were always really rightly included in that, just so it would mostly benefit us. I'm sure that's probably why a lot of us came down there. And we always just felt like it was our home away from home.
At the same time that we opened up the Boys and Girls Club in Stevens Point, we also opened up one in Junction City. One of our board members was the principal in that area, and he saw a need.
He knew what that school was for the community already, and I think having the Boys and Girls Club there made the school even more of a community center.
That's yet another example of how the board of directors and the members that helped start the Boys and Girls Club came from every walk of life in our community.
When we operated on Ellis Street, it was a small space, really small, and I remember Kevin and I a couple of times driving around town, figuring out who's in this building, when are they heading out, so we could use the building.
And I remember you calling us and saying, "You're not going to believe this. We just got a phone call from Clover saying, how would you like to rent a building for $1 a year?" And I thought, this is the biggest, most amazing Christmas gift ever. It was, in so many ways, really the first affirmation from a large organization that we trust you, we think you're doing good things for kids.
We wanted to have a bigger site for Stevens Point. So Jefferson was like our Stevens Point club. And then Ellis Street became the teen center.
And it's still being used by the Boys and Girls Club.
Right now it's our Gateway Report Center. We've been so fortunate with the number of people that donate every year, and businesses, foundations, United Way, almost from day one. I mean, it didn't take long for people to buy into the mission. Bob called me, Bob Berard, and he called me that day to tell me he was interested in doing $1 million, to really make this happen. And then we talked again the next morning, and he told me how he hadn't slept all night. And I told Bob, I said, I haven't either, Bob. He committed to it, and that's when we knew that this was going to happen.
To see that we eventually landed this building and the work that was done here, it used to be a thought, and it actually came to fruition.
Delta Dental coming on board and wanting to fund the Smile Club, the dental clinic in our building, and donating $1 million. It was amazing.
So the Delta Dental Smiles Club was an idea that Kevin actually brought forward, and we loved the idea. This was perfect for us, and we're thrilled that when the building was put together, there was a spot where we could develop the first ever Smile Club for Boys and Girls Clubs in the state of Wisconsin. The fact that the Boys and Girls Club is a place to learn means that these kids are not only getting good care, but they're learning how to take care of their teeth for a lifetime. Their smiles are our future.
I look at the Boys and Girls Club really as a pillar to this community. They just really look at the whole child, the whole community, the whole family, and they're responsive to their needs. During COVID, we learned this even more.
The first thing I thought of is how quickly you responded to the need for kids during this pandemic and families being able to pick up meals and educational materials.
I was so thankful we had the kitchen that we have. We ended up serving 50,000 meals in 1 month.
The part I appreciate about it is that it's such a good example of what the club has done and you have done from the very beginning. You never defined Boys and Girls Club with limitations. You always defined the Boys and Girls Club by what does the community need and how can we make a difference in solving that need.
Boys and Girls Club has been flexible, they've been responsive. When we had students that were e-learning and not able to come into our buildings, they provided extra programming to help support those families. The collaboration that we have with the Boys and Girls Club has been invaluable. So I just don't know what we would do without the Boys and Girls Club of Portage County.
What has been accomplished in 20 years is amazing. And it would not have happened if it wasn't for the community leaders, the donors, and I think the biggest critical piece is the staff.
It's probably something I'm most proud of too, is just the number of good people that we have working, whether it's now or in the past. I mean, we've had so many good people that have come through our organization and impacted the lives of kids. I mean, hundreds of people.
So for me, deciding to be a staff, it wasn't a question of if I wanted to be a staff, it was when. I have memories of working with kids that honestly go on for a lifetime, and then getting to see the kids' faces again and getting back into things is just wonderful, and it's gonna be something that always sticks with me.
It don't matter what background you're coming from, the kids still need what Boys and Girls Club has to provide. That space, that camaraderie, the environment where they could interact with the staff members who are not their parents, they're not their teachers or coaches, they're mentors. It's a different kind of relationship between club members and staff stay forever. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, I responded to a text message from a club member that I met when I was a staff, and that was 18, 20 years ago, and that's that kind of relationship.
The staff they were a huge impact in my life. And these people embraced me in so many different ways and really helped me be a strong adolescent boy and guided me through tough times in my own life. And they were there for me. Several of the members I specifically remember having really heartfelt, heavy conversations with. Being a teenager, that's immensely important to have somebody that's there for you that you can just unload on, and somebody who had possibly been in a scenario that's the same, or somebody that was just willing to listen. It was really important.
And they have incredible staff that you know truly care about the children, and that's priceless. To all of them that work day in and day out to make sure kids are taken care of and loved, thank you.
You look at what these kids can do and can be, and if we neglect them at an early stage, they're never going to realize that full potential. It goes back to really wanting the kids to have a level playing field and making sure that they can do what they want to do and how they want to do it, what they want to accomplish, giving them those faculties to make that a realization.
We also have found that we've got lots of students who are not on track to graduate anymore. And Boys and Girls Club offers Be Great Graduate, and that offers those junior high level kids that additional support in making sure that they get back on track to graduate, which is essential.
My biggest hope is eventually we really get to the point where we provide a space and address and include a lot of the teens, because we do serve teens, but I don't think we have hit that maximum potential that we can do. It's a vulnerable population, could be easily influenced by one thing or the other. I'd rather them be influenced by a positive, caring, safe environment like the Boys and Girls Club.
We're getting into that now where we can really help those teenagers be more prepared once they graduate from high school to have kind of a plan. What we're doing now is, we can get kids to work in our club and get that first job right here. But then we can work with them to kind of find what is it that they're going to do right after high school. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to work with teens.
The things that they were capable of offering us back then with the resources that they had, I can only imagine what they're going to offer kids in 20 years and the part in this community that they've played.
Kids have access to a lot of information, which makes today's world different than what it was 5-10 years ago. And this is especially in the realm of equity, diversity, and inclusion. Boys and Girls Clubs around the country have to be ahead of this curve, right? They have to intentionally approach and address issues around equity, diversity, and inclusion, creating inclusive spaces within the clubs. And I think our local Boys and Girls Club have been at that forefront, being proactive. This cannot be by accident. It has to be an intentional work.
I think for me, what I find really the most rewarding is that it worked. We're at a point today where we're serving hundreds of kids in 9 different locations. I truly believe from the bottom of my heart, Boys and Girls Club is making this world a better place, especially here in Portage County. I would hope as we continue to go forward for the next 20 years, we continue to do the things that have been so successful, and that is listening to what the community needs and responding to it and providing a safe place for our kids, because there's nothing more important than that.
You know, Boys and Girls Club has not only been a tremendous gift to the community, but it sure has been a gift in our lives. It's always going to be in our hearts as probably one of the most special parts of our life has been the experience with the Boys and Girls Club. When I see these kids piling in and they're all eating their dinners and they're all busy playing, and it just is like, this is the way children should be able to enjoy their free time in a safe, good place where people really care about them.
If you ever walk through the front door of the Burrard Center at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, when kids are going through the lines or have just eaten, holy Christmas, it's about as much energy as like a nuclear reactor. So it's fun to see and be a part of. It is. It's chaotic. It's like my ADD kicks in like full effect. It's like, where do I look?
Thank you for celebrating the Boys and Girls Club's 20th anniversary with us. Here's to 20 more years of inspiring and empowering youth to realize their full potential.